Well, Pacquiao Mayweather in my lifetime is the fight. You know, when we were all younger, there always used to be a fight like this. Like, when is Hagler going to fight Hearns?
Sure,
and when is Hagler going to fight Leonard? And a guy who knows more about this than anybody is Bob Arum, the top-ranked CEO, and he's nice enough to join us now. Bob, pleasure to have you on. How you been?
Great. Nice to be on.
Okay, so first of all, let's talk about Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez. This 24/7 is on. You know, every time I watch 24/7, Bob, I think to myself, why the heck didn't we think of this sooner? Somebody like me or you or somebody who loves boxing. But could you have imagined a better promotional vehicle than this 24/7 and what it's turned out to be?
No, I really haven't. I really don't, because the thing that's great about 24/7 is that it really gives an insight into the fighters and helps people understand what's going on in the ring when the fight is finally engaged. It's really been a great thing for boxing and for the fans.
Yeah, you know, it used to be if you watched fights regularly, you became familiar with the boxers, but now you actually feel like you know them as people when they go into the ring, and it's a much more powerful thing. Like, if you watch 24/7, you automatically have a dog in the fight because you know
like what they're fighting for.
Yeah, you know what their life is like and how they are day to day. I mean, it's revolutionized boxing in a lot of ways.
I agree with you. Well, it's not only boxing that is revolutionized. They've done similar things at HBO with Hard Knocks was in effect a similar type of activity. Yeah, it's great. It's really great for the fans, and I can't say enough about it. And I know these fighters, and yet I'm fascinated when I watch the 24/7. Even when I miss one, you know, there's so many replays on demand.
Yep,
it's great. Yeah, if you have HBO, all you do is set your TiVo and it'll pop up within 2 days. It's
absolutely.
Yeah, it's really well promoted and well produced. We're talking to Bob Arum, the top-ranked CEO. Bob, I've watched Juan Manuel Marquez fight a couple of times. I actually think that he could possibly be a tough matchup for Manny. I think Manny's going to win, but what do you think would need to happen? How would the fight need to play out for Marquez to pull off an upset?
Well, you know, there's a real question here. How much improved is Manny from the two times they fought, and how has Juan Manuel progressed? Because you have to look at the two prior fights. That's the form. And in the two prior fights, there was very little to separate the two fighters. So for me, while I agree with you, I think that Manny's going to win the fight. As the boys in Las Vegas say, the odds are a real overlay. You can get great value by betting Marquez because he's an 8-1 underdog, which is crazy. It should be at best a 3-1 fight.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is the fighters are so similar in size, so similar in. I mean, they really match up very well.
And they'll weigh the same weight when the fight starts. Manny has a lot of trouble staying at this weight because he's naturally a lighter guy, and he eats 7,000 calories a day when he's training just to keep his weight normal. And so he'll go in the ring at maybe 147, 148 pounds, and that's what Marquez will be.
And Marquez, by the way, has this reputation, and you'll know how true it is. He's got a reputation as being more of a thinker in the ring. He's less complete physicality and more, he's thinking, he's strategizing in there.
Well, he's a counterpuncher.
Yep.
He's one of the best counterpunchers we've seen in our time. And that's why Manny's style suits him, because Manny's style is all attack, 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 and Marquez's style is the counterpunch, and he does it very effectively. That's why a Marquez against a Mayweather is not very good, because Mayweather is a terrific defensive fighter, and Marquez doesn't have anything to counterpunch against when he fights a Mayweather. But against the Manny, that plays to Juan Manuel's strength.
We're talking to Bob Arum, the top-ranked CEO. Now, Bob, you know as well as anyone, the fight that the whole world is clamoring for is Pacquiao-Mayweather. Earlier last week, you said, quote, "That fight will never, ever happen, ever, ever, because of Mayweather." Why do you feel that way?
Because I think Mayweather, who's a real student of boxing, knows that his style doesn't match up against Manny. That Manny, now as a two-handed fighter, fighting a Mayweather, who doesn't like to fight southpaws in the first place, that Manny would not only beat Mayweather, but it would hurt him badly. And Mayweather doesn't want to lose. And so I can't see Mayweather going in and fighting.
All right, now hold on, though, Bob. You've been around this game your whole life. Isn't it true that in the boxing game, everyone has their price? If we threw so much money at Mayweather, can't we give him the proverbial offer he can't refuse and make this happen?
Well, for most fighters, that's probably true, but Mayweather is the exception, because as long as Mayweather can pick up $25 million fighting guys like Ortiz, there's really no incentive for him, even making twice as much or more, to fight a Manny Pacquiao.
Okay, so settle a discussion we were having before you came on. If you were the one who got to set the price on the pay-per-view, and Pacquiao fought Mayweather, my guess is, Bob, it would probably, if you wanted it, be the highest grossing pay-per-view ever, and you could set a pretty high price. What price would you set? What price is too high?
Well, I think probably you could go up to $70, $69.95, maybe a little higher. But, you know, at some point, it's diminishing returns, particularly in this economy. And even though we sell the pay-per-view hoping that people get together in their homes with other people, so when you take the cost and you amortize it over the people watching, it's not that expensive. There comes a point where it becomes too expensive, even when you do that. So it will be the biggest price ever, and it will do more homes than ever, and it will bring in a lot of money, but you can't rape the public, and you shouldn't rape the public.
So, do you have a sense or a guess at how many homes would be on board for a Mayweather-Pacquiao fight?
Again, you make a guess, and it's just a guess. You don't know, but I would think probably around 3 million homes.
Bob, we're talking to Bob Arum. I would think that the people would really want to go to that fight. And when I first put it together, I thought, well, you could have it in Cowboys Stadium in Dallas, which holds well over 100,000 people. But then you know this world better than I do. I know that promoters like yourself, if possible, like to keep the fights in Las Vegas. Talk about that decision. What would be the advantage of going to a gigantic stadium like Cowboy Stadium versus doing it in Vegas, where you could have a gambling element increased by doing it that way?
See, I believe that Cowboy Stadium is such a great facility that it would make it a worldwide unique event, because it would be in this tremendous structure with that great screen, 100,000 screaming people, and it would be absolutely great for boxing. Now, that being said, you can't charge the same prices at Cowboy Stadium as you do in Las Vegas.
Why?
Because in Las Vegas, a lot of the ringside seats are purchased by the casinos, who give them to their customers. So the customers, in effect, pay for the tickets by losing at the tables, but then again, they have the opportunity to win.
Right.
So that's how it works. But the venues in Las Vegas, 16,500. Thomas and Mack has about 18,000. They're relatively small when compared to Cowboy Stadium. Now, it may very well be if you want to keep a fight like that in Las Vegas, we have a football stadium, Sam Boyd Stadium, and you can put it for 40 or 50,000 people in that stadium. So let's, if the fight is ever going to be made, and I am very, very doubtful.
Really, even after what's been said in the last 24 hours, the May the 5th thing,
that to me is the sign that it's not going to happen.
Really? What? How is that the sign it's not going to happen?
Because it's a joke. Mayweather does, before every Pacquiao fight, because he's jealous of the limelight that Pacquiao is getting, he does something, whether it's to go on an anti-Asian rant on a cable station prior to a Manny fight, like he did before the Mosley fight, or announce one of his fights on the afternoon that Pacquiao is fighting Ricky Hatton. He always finds something that he wants to do to take the limelight away from Manny to him. If he was serious about negotiating a fight, serious, we're all adults, he would have waited till after this fight was over, had one of his people call me, we would have a meeting and conduct a regular negotiation. The fact that he said May 5, MGM Grand and so forth, shows me that he's not serious, because if you're doing a fight of this magnitude, don't you at least try to get bids from the various sites? Jerry Jones, God knows what he would bid to fight in Cowboy Stadium. Steve Wynn and Sheldon Adelson would get together and make a bid to put it in Thomas and Mack or Sam Boyd Arena. How would you say, look, we're holding the MGM Grand? What is that all about?
Yeah, it's interesting.
That's not serious. You're not serious when you do that.
Wow. Well, listen, Bob, we hope that at some point it becomes serious, because it's certainly a fight that every fight fan wants to see, every sports fan wants to see.
Look, for a year, Mayweather used the excuse that Manny wouldn't take the test, no matter how many times Manny said that he was able to take the Olympic-style drug testing. Mayweather repeated the mantra, take the test, take the test, take the test. He got sick, he got worn out. And finally, even he acknowledged, Mayweather, that Manny is willing to take the test. Now, what then is holding up this fight? The answer is nothing should be holding up the fight, but Mayweather is reluctant to fight Manny. And the fact that he makes an announcement, picks a date, picks the site, shows me that he's not serious. Why did he do it? Well, one, he wanted to take the limelight away from Manny, which all he's done is create more interest in the Marquez fight, because everybody is interviewing me, based on the statements, so we're getting a lot more publicity. And secondly, they figured that he would pull my chain and I would react and say, never will we fight this guy. Who is he to make demands and so forth? But I'm not going to do it, because I treat it for what it is. It's just a sick joke.
All right. Well, listen, Bob, we look forward to seeing you next week in Vegas at the MGM Grand. The big fight is next Saturday night. Pacquiao Marquez. Looking forward to it, and thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
That's Bob Arum. Hey, I got a question, Mace.
Yeah.
We'll throw it out there.